Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you have been having fun. It's me again. I want to say thank you to my supporters, thank you to my subscribers. If you're tuning in for the first time, do me a favor, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so as to be notified each time I post a new video, and like, share and comment. And if you've already subscribed to my channel, I want to say thank you so much, because you're special, and as well I feel so special having you around me. Thank you for the support, guys. Thank you for the love, thank you for the watch, and thank you for everything. And all right, we are here, and I'm here as well for you guys. Back to why we are here. People must be prepared for new outbreaks of coronavirus to build up very quickly, the World Health Organization tells the BBC. The World Health Organization COVID-19 Special Envoy, Dr. David Nabarro, warns this virus has not gone away despite lockdown being eased. The fact, it hasn't gone away because no cure has been detected, no antivirus has been detected, no vaccine has been detected. So how is it going to go away? They are just trying to get the economy kicking. They're trying to make us live normal life. Let us not feel so bored to the extent of we'll begin to die of boringness instead of COVID-19. But actually, you have to keep it in mind that the coronavirus, it's still within. It hasn't gone away. It's still within. More than 200 schools across South Korea returns to online teaching days after reopening amid a fresh outbreak of the virus. On Thursday, South Korea reported 79 new cases within 24 hours, its highest number in 2 months. Japan has seen a new cluster of infections emerge in Southwest, just days after the Prime Minister lifted the state of emergency. Brazil reported a daily record of 26,417 new coronavirus cases on Thursday. There are more than 5.8 million cases globally, and the death toll stands at 359,791, according to Johns Hopkins University. Stay tuned for more updates.
We clean to reduce the infection. If I don't come, the infection is going to spread more.
Was I careful enough? Am I getting it today? Will I get it tomorrow?
There was too many people to bury, ripped into the heart of our community.
I'm waiting for it to hit me. At the moment, I can't afford to break down.
It's a selflessness much admired in this pandemic, those choosing to do what others wouldn't. And so many of the nurses and doctors and consultants, as well as cleaners, the helping hands guiding us through this storm, are black, Asian, and minority ethnic. Somewhere, deep down, My heart skipped a little, entering the Royal London Hospital's COVID wards. Because studies suggest those from the BAME community are being affected by the virus disproportionately and are almost twice as likely to die from infection than those who are white. Why is unclear.
All of us cannot be doctors. Somebody have to be a doctor, one have to be a nurse, and somebody have to be a domestic. So I'm proud of what I am. I was nervous until I came here and my manager told me we're all going to have training. So as soon as we had the training, everything was fine. I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't panicking anymore. And we clean to reduce the infection. So if I don't come, the infection is going to spread more.
When it comes to BAME NHS staff, proximity to the virus through close contact with infected patients is a disproportionate feature of many of their roles in the health service. Some argue the NHS needs to examine staff deployment policies for structure. Where else would you want to be if not cushioning a patient's pain? Because when all the fancy labels are stripped away, your job
How are you feeling?
is to care. Listen to Irene from Uganda, a nursing student who we filmed on her very first day on a COVID ward.
You're like, oh my God, was I careful enough? Am I getting it today? Will I get it tomorrow? It's very real, yeah. But you just have to keep strong. I always tell myself someone has got to treat people. Like, I mean, even if it were my relatives, I would want someone to care for them. So that kind of keeps me going.
The Muslim chaplain at the Royal London, Farouk Siddiqui, has seen the toll on the local Asian community in this pandemic. Countless deaths.
Can I wrap it round? Or?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable? Because you're going to be in that for a while.
As he prepares to enter a COVID ward at the hospital on his first visit. Prayers for his own safety before prayers and words of comfort for others.
There's too many people to bury. And we had some cemeteries where they were having a kind of an Islamic version of a mass graves where they would bury 10 people in one kind of plot. It's gripped into the heart of our community which is based around the mosque, family relations, being with friends and loved ones on a daily basis.
Does the virus know a victim is black or white? Of course not, but social factors like income and wealth and education affect the quality of the health of all of us. As such, poorer black and ethnic minority communities may be more vulnerable. In this morgue we came across two bodies, two women, one from West Africa and one from North Africa. They called Britain home, but now there's a purgatory, a final torment, because one of the COVID victims wanted burial in the soil of her birth, but the closed border means her body sat here for 2 months. In this mosque, two more bodies, shielded by the flags of Turkey and northern Cyprus. And there are more bodies outside, piling up in shipping containers.
We've been to the Royal London a few times to pick up some of our community members that have passed from the virus. I'm waiting for it to hit me. At the moment, I can't afford to break down. It's painful. It's painful. It's too personal, it's close, you know, it doesn't get any closer when you're growing up in your community and then you find yourself having to do the last journey for them, understanding the pain that the families are going through. It's trauma. It's trauma on every level.
Grieving delayed is grieving denied.
About school when we go back.
I'm Bronwyn Jeffries and I'm the BBC's education editor. Will we have to social distance in lessons, break or lunch?
When you go back to school, Mayor, you can expect to be asked to keep a social distance, but you're also going to find yourself in a much smaller group, so no more than 15 pupils in what's being called a bubble. And those are the people you will be spending your break times with and your lunch time.
What will be different about school when we go back?
I've been visiting schools as they've been getting ready to welcome pupils back. And Lucy, I can tell you that the classrooms are going to look quite different. You're likely to be sitting at a table on your own, 2 metres from the nearest pupil. It's likely that you'll have your own books, pens and pencils and any other equipment so that you're not sharing them.
What would happen if somebody tested positive for COVID-19 within a school?
If someone becomes unwell at school and it's thought that they might have coronavirus, they'll be put into a separate room until they can be collected and taken home. And if they test positive, everyone they've been in contact with in their smaller bubble or group of pupils will also be asked to self-isolate until they're sure that no one else is showing symptoms.
How long until we return back to a normal timetable in the classroom?
Well, we know, Emerson, that we're going to be living with this virus for a while. You can expect that your timetable is going to be a little different, not just this summer term, but quite possibly into the autumn term as well, with a mixture of learning at home and learning at school as teachers try to get everything back to normal.
I'm wondering about students who have vulnerable or sick family members. Will these children continue to study from home?
If you have someone very vulnerable in your family, Holly, it's probably wise that they speak to the family doctor, to the GP, to get advice. For people who have the most serious vulnerability to this virus, they're being advised to shield, to stay at home and their families with them.
Over to another news headline, another news update. The Christian Association of Nigeria chairman in Nasarawa State kidnapped. About insecurity again for Nigeria. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Nasarawa State, Bishop Joseph Masin, has been kidnapped. The commissioner of Nasarawa State Police Command, Bola Longe, confirmed the development on Thursday when he spoke with newsmen. Longe said the bishop was abducted by gunmen who stormed his residence in Bokan City, Lafia Metropolis on Wednesday night. He said the police team had been deployed to trial the abductors to ensure the safe rescue of the victim and possible arrest of the perpetrators. Collaborating the incidents, Elder Johanna Samari, a former camp security in the state, said Masin was abducted by the attackers at midnight at his Bokan City residence. Meanwhile, Pastor Tayo Samuel, the camp vice chairman in the state, said the abductors had contacted the family demanding for 20 million naira ransom. 20 million naira ransom, imagine. 20 million naira. So they think money is easy. Let them not go and work a lawful job. Let them not go and look for a lawful thing to do. Anyway, over to another news, Jerry. No time. A police station was set on fire during protests over George Floyd deaths. Donald Trump has attacked who he called thugs in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after a third night of violent protest over the death of an unarmed black man in custody. Demonstrations set fire to a police station as anger mounted after George Floyd died on Monday. In a tweet about the latest unrest, the president said he can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, and vowed when the shooting start, which sparkled a violation ruling by Twitter for glorifying violence. Protests spread over death in police custody. Mr. Trump claimed there had been a total lack of leadership among the city's authorities as the protests intensified. He said either the very weak radical left mayor, Jacob Frey, gets his act together and brings the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. In a second tweet, Mr. Trump wrote, "These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim was and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, I will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. The later post was deemed by Twitter to have violated its rules about glorifying violence, and others had to click on the view button to read it. Mr. Flood died after a white officer, Derek Calvin, was filmed kneeling on his neck while he was handcuffed for at least 8 minutes after arresting him for allegedly using a fake $20 note in a shop. The 46-year-old can be heard in the widely circulated phone footage saying he could not breathe after paramedics are seen lifting him on a stretcher and into an ambulance. He was later pronounced dead in hospital. The video to show you how the officers were kneeling on his neck. The video showed the mother right before our very eyes. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told TV broadcaster MSNBC. She said it's so very, very sad because the American people saw an execution, a murder, right before our very eyes. It wasn't self-defense. There has to be justice in that case. On Thursday evening, cheering protesters broke into a police precinct after the department abandoned it, setting it on fire and letting off fireworks as violence spread across the U.S. over Mr. Floyd's death. Demonstrations in New York City defying coronavirus rules against public gatherings clashed with police, while some blocked traffic in downtown Denver. Demonstrations have spread to other U.S. cities, including New York. In Minneapolis, a police spokesman confirmed that staff have evacuated the 3rd Precinct station, which covers the area where Mr. Floyd was detained, in the interest of the safety of our personnel. Video streamed live online showed people entering the building where fire alarms went off and sprinklers came on as blazers were set. Windows of shops were also smashed. The city's governor, Tim Walz, called in the National Guard, which tweeted that it had activated more than 500 soldiers across the area. It said a key objective was to make sure fire department could respond to calls, and in a follow-up post, it said it was here with the Minneapolis Fire Department to assist, but no move was made to put out the fire. Local leaders have repeatedly urged demonstrators to avoid violence and to please stay at home. In a tweet, St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter, who is black, said, "Please do not come here to protest. Please keep the focus on George Floyd, on advancing our movement, and on preventing this from ever happening again." The U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI in Minneapolis said they are conducting a robust criminal investigation into Mr. Floyd's death. The video showed the murder right before our very eyes.
God. Ah.
Look how they doing people out here. Got him bleed on the ground. He crying and shit. Oh, that's sick.
Please, I can't breathe. Please, man.
Y'all better chill out! Look at how many of them! Look at how many of them! Look how many of them! They trying to hide it! They trying to hide it! They trying to hide it! Look! Look! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Move back! Move back!
Whoa!
What the f is wrong with you, my
You are unlawfully in the roadway and obstructing vehicular traffic. You are ordered to leave the roadway and utilize the available sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed.
This was, the police said, a very different night of protest in Minneapolis. Burning buildings, looting and violence, an escalation as the anger and tension rises. Crowds protesting at a police station were driven back with tear gas. A man died after a shooting at a pawn shop. It is the video of the last moments of George Floyd's life, a police officer's knee on his neck, that's driven the outrage. His family and the city's mayor calling for the officer to be charged with murder.
Why is the man who killed George Floyd not in jail? If you had done it, or I had done it, we would be behind bars right now. And I cannot come up with a good answer to that question.
Oh boy, oh boy.
The protests have now spread. In Los Angeles, crowds blocked a freeway and clashed with police. The anger over the treatment of African-American men by police isn't new, but it is very raw right now. Fueled by things like this, a white man confronting black businessmen in the office gym.
What office? So we have an office here, and this guy came accusing us we can't be here.
What office are you in?
Don't worry about that. We don't have to tell you anything. Go ahead.
The man's had his lease terminated. The actor John Boyega posted his frustrations.
A black man was just murdered in cold blood in the streets stateside again, while saying that he can't breathe. That's a continuous cycle going on. And although I don't live in the States, but I'm black. F that. So I'll say it again. F you racist white people.
That frustration is shared by America's politicians.
To watch Mr. Floyd be murdered in a video at a time when we're all so sad to begin with. It's always tragic. It has always been tragic. But there we saw it on TV, him being murdered on TV.
In Minneapolis, the community's feeling is clear. Donald Trump has said justice will be served, but it could take weeks for a prosecutor to decide on criminal charges. And people here are impatient for answers. Greg Milam, Sky News, Los Angeles.
And also, this took place in Nigeria, a news from Nigeria. Pastor to die by hanging for murder. A pastor charged to die by hanging for murder. An Ondo State-based pastor, Kolawole Samson, has been sentenced to death by hanging for killing one Ayo Aliniyi at a village near Okegbo area of the state. The late Olaniyi was said to have in March 2016 gone to hunt frogs alongside 3 others at a fish pond owned by Pastor Kolawole. Pastor Kolawole was sentenced to death by an Ondo State High Court sitting in Akure, presided over by Justice Ademola Bola. Kolawole was found guilty of inflicting injury on the deceased head with a cutlass. The deceased later died at a hospital he was admitted. Prosecuting counsel Mr. Olusegun Akerodolu and Mrs. Omotola Ologun argued that the offences contrary to Section 316 and punishable under Section 319 of the Criminal Code, Cap 37 Laws of Ondo State 2016. Mother of the deceased was one of the witnesses called to testify during trial. Pastor Kolawole, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Justice Bola, however, all evidence before the court showed that Pastor Kolawole was guilty of killing Olaniyi. The judge held that Samson Kolawole should die by hanging. Okay, lovely people. Thank you for staying tuned from the beginning to the ending of this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to do me a favor. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. And also, you know the other way around, I'm not going to mention it. And also, don't forget to share, like, and comment. Please, 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 please. Subscribe. And turn on the notification bell so as to be notified each time I post a new video. And I pray you will be richly rewarded by our God Almighty. Thank you so much. Till we meet again. Have fun. It's still me.